it is possible I have pre-ordered everything on this list. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris, and today's video is the March indie releases. Before we jump into that list, make sure you're checking the description box down below for links to my Discord and social media, should you want to come along for the ride. Now, we have a smorgasbord of indie releases coming out on March. Starting with March 1st, it has four releases coming out on day one, so if you are interested in any of them, you can go and buy them now. In fact, book one, right off the bat, is something that I have pre-ordered because the cover got me so bad, and I was just like, don't even need to know what it's about, but then I read the blurb and got excited. So let's jump into that one. Up on March 1st, we have a Low Country. This is by Morgan Shank. This is Low Country book one. This is grimdark / Weird West. We are seeing an uprise of Western fantasies come to the forefront. I haven't read many myself, but this one does have me excited. And once again, I will apologize for looking down because the laptop is here. This one says, everything went to hell in the first week. After 4 years on the road, Charla was looking forward to settling down and trying her hand at a steadier occupation. When claws raid her town and take her lover Ren, she knows it's time for action. She's tired of running. Now she'll take a stand. To do this, she'll have to follow the claws across the Tablelands. This is a land of bandits, mages, and monsters. If she wants to travel this country and rescue Ren, she'll need help. An army of watchmen would be nice, maybe even a drug cartel. However, she knows it's best to keep things small. The more allies she has, the more she risks a future knife between the ribs. After all, this is Low Country. This sounds like a great adventure, and I'm pretty excited to get to this one. I think I'm going to boost it and put it on my TBR for 2023. Also on March 1st, we have Muses That Align Us. This is Palisades, book number 2 by Amber L. Werner. This is epic fantasy, sword and sorcery with a dash of romance. This purple cover really pops. I love what it's doing with the color scheme here. I do like purples in my covers, and I think this has done a really good job. I read the blurb for this one and it went straight into spoilers for book one, so I'm just going to go with the first line, and it says, forced from their homes, fleeing a wave of destruction, how far will they go to uncover their fates? Any more than that is going to give away stuff for book one, so we'll leave it there. Also up on the same day, we have got an intriguing cover for a YA progression or / cultivation sci-fantasy, and that is for Girl Squad Volta. This is Volta Academy Chronicles, book number 1 by Maya Lin Wang. This premise actually sounds like a lot of fun if you're into the YA not genre, it's not a genre, but if you're into YA fantasy or sci-fantasy, this sounds like it could be up your alley. For compulsive doodler Ren, finding out that magical beings exist is a bit of a shock. Finding out that her childhood friend and unrequited crush Laura is one of those beings, less of a shock. Laura has always seemed supernaturally gifted at everything from school projects to karate to writing epic storylines for Ren's long-running superhero comic. Her having literal magic barely seems like a stretch. Before interdimensional fairies called Volta brought their rivalry to the sleepy town of Heartwood, Ren's biggest fear was that Laura would abandon her for cooler friends when they started high school. Now, as light and dark forces converge on Laura's burgeoning magical signature, Ren will do anything to protect her friend, magic or none. Alongside a headstrong, sonic-powered Volta named Jackie, Ren must stand up to a team of magical hunters, help Laura realize her latent powers, and maybe find her own strength along the way. Sounds kind of cute, sounds kind of fun, sounds kind of queer, and we like all those things. Maybe I will pick that one up. Then we have book 2 in The Last Necromancer by Adam Bright. This cover is going to intrigue a certain type of audience, and I read the blurb for this one as well. It goes straight into spoilers, so we'll just chop in the first line here. It says, a second chance means nothing if you didn't learn from your first. It's a literary RPG. If you like those kind of things, then jump into this one. It might be a bit of fun. Moving on to March the 2nd, we have Fated Rain. This is Fated Born, book number 2 by Kristen L. Hamblin. This is YA / fantasy romance, and again, spoilery blurb, let's go with the first line. Denied the crown, denied their love, yet she will rise. It sounds like a fantasy YA romance by the sound and the looks of the cover. I actually quite like the white cover. I know there's a lot of white here, but I think there is enough to catch the eye. It reminds me a little bit of the Bone Shard Daughters cover, where even though it is sort of one color scheme, there's a lot of detail to be seen in here. Then we move on to March 4 with The Soul of Magic by Niranjan, an author that has been on many of these lists, and this one again sounds like a bit of fun. In a world where magic is passed down by bloodlines, Duncan Frost is a bastard who cannot lay claim to his birthright. The wild magic abundant to everyone without a bloodline marks him inferior. All his life he's yearned for acceptance, to be noteworthy. He finally gets both when he becomes a knight of Abitil and bodyguard to its prince. When Duncan meets Will Gaislet, cousin to the prince, he recognizes him as a magic soul, a magical soulmate bond blessed by the gods themselves. Though the people of Abitil disregard it, Duncan has always believed it. When Will is abducted, Duncan must find a way to save him. That means returning to his father and Whitecrest, the very kingdom laying siege to Abitil. Their price? Join them. It means leaving Abitil and the life he's built behind, forever forsaking his vows as a knight and sacrificing all he's fought to achieve. Duncan has survived war, pain, and humiliation without flinching, but the decision he faces now is harder than the rest combined. Protect his honor or save Will's life. No matter what he chooses, the consequences may outweigh the rewards. After all, what soulmate would want a traitor in his life? We are dealing with some family drama and some deep consequences by the sounds of things there. Also on March 4th we have Angel's Creed by Paul Sating. This is the Rev Carver series, book number 2. Now I think some of the formats of these books are already available, but the Kindle edition specifically is coming out on March the 4th. So if you've read the first one, I've read the second one, you can move on past this, but I believe that some of those formats are coming to the forefront. It says, making enemies is easy, stopping them from killing you is the challenge. I'm more than just a Grim Reaper, assassin, and demon hunter, I'm also the target of subterfuge. Intriguing. Then on March 5th we have a Rising Flux novella. This is the Flux Catastrophe series by Jonathan Weiss. This is sci-fantasy. There is quite a long blurb for this one, so I'm just going to read the first part of it. It says, pillars of steel sand scattered across the dunes of the Droughtlands, left behind by those of glass. They're the markers of people long extinct, wiped out by fusion of unbound magic and unfathomable technology. The remnants of humanity who now dwell upon the desert wastes regard these places with suspicion, yet the temptation of forbidden knowledge is too strong a draw for the crew sent out by the Academy of Bregusa, I'm going with. At the age of 20, freshly initiated Reddick jumps at the chance to join one such expedition, even if it means ignoring the whispered doubts of the rest of the crew. I definitely like the cover here. It gives me some desert adventure vibes, and I like that. Jumping over to March the 10th, we have Twilight Storm. This is the Kerry Chronicles Book 3 by A.C. Arquin, an urban fantasy series that I believe is going to be fairly long running. Don't quote me on that. It says, wild storms are getting worse, pounding San Francisco and changing everyone in their path. For Val Carey, the friend she has today may be tomorrow's enemy, or worse, tomorrow's monster. Nice short blurb, we love that. It sounds like a fun sort of Monster of the Week urban fantasy series, so check this one out if you're into those sort of things. Also on March the 10th, I will admit this cover did not grab me, but then I read the blurb and I've hit pre-order since then. This is Platinum Tinted Darkness, the Legacy of Bolam, Book 1 by Timothy Wolfe. This is epic fantasy and sword and sorcery. The kingdom of Bolam has been lost. The realms have already seen what happens when the gods and their harbingers are left unchecked. Destruction, chaos, and death. The gods cannot be trusted. No one knows that better than David Williams, the leader of the Guardians tasked to protect the realm from the gods and their powerful harbingers ever since the fall of Bolam. 6 Guardians take their pledge to leave the squabbles of kingdoms behind and live only to stop the harbingers and protect the realm from the gods. Serena Morgan, a framed crystal mage and guardian, struggles with the Guardian Pact when the kingdom of Terengus invades her home. She's supposed to stay out of it, but she can't. When she breaks her oath and joins in the skirmish, she earns favor of the god of death when the conflict escalates to an all-out war. He makes her an offer, one that'll make sure she'll never fail in her goals again, to become his harbinger, to partake in the ecstasy of destruction. It sounds rad. I can't wait to read it. Then on March the 13th, we've got Dawning of Darkness. This is The Fall of Gods and Kings, Next Life by James G. Robertson. I love this cover. I love it. It's a little bit odd. It's a little bit freaky. I love it. This is epic fantasy and sword and sorcery. It says, systems fall, planets die, darkness dawns on us all. When a god known simply as the Dark Creator enters our universe, the concord of world inhabited by the spirits of men and their kings, the god's chosen few fades. As this being and his overwhelming force of corrupted horrors and children eclipse Afterworld and its territories, the kingdoms of men must put aside their differences and band together. After millennia of fighting, the final blockade separating man from those sinister entities has collapsed. With so much at stake and the Dark Creator approaching the Divine Mountains, will our protectors' sacrifices ensure Afterworld survivor, or will this encroaching darkness consume it all? Sounds dark. I dig it. Then up on March 14th, we've got Secrets in the Dark. This is The Tale of Thalum #1 by Yaz Rahal. This is epic fantasy and grimdark, and also another one that has my attention. My poor Kindle Unlimited account is going to reach max within 2 months of doing this series. This says, in a city dominated by lawlessness, survival is all that matters. Even more so for Savas, who possesses diluted magic in his blood and must keep it secret or risk dying at the hands of magic hunters. But when a notorious gang leader kills Savas's sister, he seeks aid from Port Atmak's clandestine rulers, the Order of Shira. I can read. In exchange for his sister's killer, Savas signs a blood-binding contract with the Order to become a magic hunter, joining the ranks of those who hunted him his whole life. Now, as he nears the end of his contract, centuries-old forces and powers, yet unmasked, emerge, threatening to disrupt his revenge. Death lingers in the shadows, but Savas vows to outlast them all until he achieves his ultimate goal, avenging his sister. Grimdark revenge. I'm in. On March the 15th, we've got Wizardom Legends, Castles of Legend, Tor the Dungeon Crawler, book number 2. This sounds like a literary RPG. It's epic fantasy / sword and sorcery. On the cover, we've got a ragtag crew, actually, that says that in the first line of the blurbs. I'm just going to read it. A ragtag crew of adventurers, 3 legendary castles, mischief, monsters, and mayhem abound. What's not to like there? It sounds like a fun time. I didn't go into the rest of the blurb because selfishly I may want to read this one day, and I don't want to see what's happening in book 1. We've got another time jump here to March the 21st with Ancient Sword Falling. This is Luke Irontree and the Last Vampire War, book number 8 by C. Thomas Lafollette. This one says, from coast to coast, vampires are the enemy with the most. I don't know what to make of that. On March the 23rd, we have Charcoal and Smoke. This is The Elemental Artist, book 3 by Jamie Farley. Weird West / cozy fantasy. Again, selfishly, I do want to read book 1. I've owned book 1 since it came out, since it was on Spiffbo, whatever competition it was in, and I just haven't gotten around to it. I do like that we're getting this cozy fantasy genre sort of come up more. I don't know how I'll go with the genre because I do like things fairly dark and thematic heavy. We'll see. But this one says, one man's quest to find how far love travels. The first blurb of the first book was really lovely, and maybe I need some more niceties in my life, but I do want to read book 1. As always, these covers are stunning. Jumping over to March 30th, we have A Song of Sorrow. This is Isles of Bright and Shadow by C.E. Page, and if I'm being honest, this may be my favourite cover of the year. Check back when I do my top things of 2023, but I friggin' love it. Now, I do not know if this series is a continuation of an initial series, which is something of Bright and Shadow. I'm pretty sure I've bought that series over on Kindle and pre-ordered this one. I don't know if it's a continuation, so do look that up. This does say it is a book 1 of a new series, but because of how closely aligned the series names are, it makes me feel like there's an initial trilogy and then this is a carry-on. This says that it is epic fantasy. It says, keep your head down, stay silent, and never use your magic. These are the rules that Deanna has lived by ever since she and her brother lost their parents in a tragic accident. Now Kai's gone as well. He was the only thing keeping her anchored to a world that will never truly accept her. A world that sees her connection to Grandmother Ocean as a curse and her magic as an anomaly that will eventually spin out of her control and destroy everything. When Bran arrived at the Faradian Isles to study the magical affiliation plaguing its young prince, he didn't expect to be thrown into a race to stop a tyrant from unleashing chaos. But when Prince Samir is kidnapped and Deanna, the only person who knows the truth about the mysterious Shrouded Ones, goes missing, he finds himself swept up in the machinations of a centuries-old curse. A curse that, when triggered, will drag the Isles and all in them into the fathomless deep. Sounds cool. I love the covers of all of the books that this author has put out. They are so vibrant, and I just want to know what's going on. So I'm probably going to pick up the other series first, just in case this is a continuation. Then on March 30th, we have Terminus Rex, the Serpent Knight Saga, Book 4 by Kevin Wright. I'm seeing a lot of this font around recently, and this is epic fantasy, grimdark, sword and sorcery, and historical fantasy. It just says mystery, mayhem, monsters, murder. If that doesn't sell you, I don't know what will. And finally, up on this list, on the 31st of March, we have Destiny Awaiting. This is the Natare series prequel. I don't know if this is a novella or not. This is by Jan Foster, and it is historical fantasy. So she stole away to discover a new world, but interrupted a thief. Now, Aof can't escape from him or her growing curiosity. Across England and France, Henry V is relentlessly raising an army to secure his throne. Tal's skills as a thief, blacksmith and bowman might land him in the firing line, but all he wants is to clear his debts and restore his family's honour. To pay for his crime, he must hand over the strange Fey girl to the church authorities, or he will end up warring with more than just his heart. Fighting with each other risks both of their lives. To avert war breaking out between their races as well as their countries, Aof, I can't pronounce that name. Aof and Tal must discover what true love is if they are to survive the destiny which awaits them. It sounds sweet. I don't know if this is part of a bigger series. I did not look that up. I apologise to everyone here. Those are the books coming out to you in March of 2023. What are you excited for? Like I said in the beginning, pretty sure I've pre-ordered at least half of these books because I'm excited about all of them. I don't know when I'm going to read them, but at some point in my lifetime, hopefully. Let me know what you're excited for in the comments down below. If you like the content, give it one of those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will. I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao.